So a while back, I was watching one of my personal favorite YouTubers, JJ McCullough, who runs a great channel by the way, on his trip to Saskatchewan, a province in central Canada. Wait, hold on. Is that the Union Jack on a Canadian Parliament building? We hear about the Commonwealth all the time, probably most notably from the Commonwealth Games. Fast backward to the late 19th century, the British Empire stretched throughout the globe. Certain white settler colonies, such as Canada and Australia, were entrusted with a certain level of self-government, allowed to run their own affairs but still be part of the larger British Empire. As these self-governing dominions had grown far larger than the UK itself, they naturally started to demand more autonomy from London and to manage their own affairs. The UK granted this demand in 1926, calling these white dominions to London for the Balfour Declaration and establishing the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is defined as, quote, autonomous communities within the British Empire, equal in status, in no way subordinate one to another, though united by a common allegiance to the Crown. Basically, these dominions, along with the UK, were now officially members of the British Empire, quote, community, meaning that while the UK did not technically rule over them, they would still be loyal to whoever the British monarch was. However, the British were not blind to the fact that the world was changing. The age of empires was coming to a gradual end as the seeds of independence were sowed in former colonies. In 1947, India won independence from the UK, and although the British tried to push the newly independent India into the Commonwealth, which would have needed allegiance to the Crown, India declined the request, choosing to become an independent republic. Therefore, the British had to modify their Commonwealth definition to keep India in, saying that being under the Crown was no longer a requirement for joining the Commonwealth. These are the rules that the modern Commonwealth plays by, even if the figurehead leader of the Commonwealth is still in theory the British monarch. Most Commonwealth countries now don't even recognize King Charles as their head of state, and Rwanda, Mozambique, Gabon, and Togo weren't even British colonies in the first place. So now, going back to the first video, we can now understand why a Union Jack was flown in Canada, because Canada recognized itself to be under the British monarch, right? Unfortunately, it's not so simple. Although Canada's laws remain fully distinct from the UK, Charles remains as head of state and, quote, King of Canada. In Canada, you'll never hear the king officially referred to as King of the United Kingdom, but rather just the King of Canada, to stress that the UK and Canada are separate countries, and that Canada is in no way ruled by Britain. This system, I believe, is also employed in other countries with Charles as head of state, such as Australia, New Zealand, and Jamaica, and is often described as a shared monarchy, in which these countries share the same monarch, while being entirely separate nations that make their own laws and govern their own people. So, while the reason that the Union Jack, or as Canada calls it, the Royal Union flag, is still flown officially is because of symbolic allegiance to the monarch, I believe that the real reason is mostly just nostalgia for the old days when Canada was a British dominion rather than any real loyalty. The Union Jack seems to be rather popular. It's on the flags of Ontario, Manitoba, and British Columbia, and commonly seen on government buildings, even though Canada and the United Kingdom are completely separate countries. I honestly don't really have an opinion regarding this whole Commonwealth debate, as my country separated ties with Britain long ago. However, I'm curious to know what your opinions regarding this shared monarchy are. Please let me know. Thank you and see you next time.